Welcome back to another episode of Hyper Heroes here on Hyper RPG. Super excited to be here. You may have noticed something a little bit different. It's Saturday. You're watching this on Saturday. If you're on the East Coast, you're probably at lunchtime.
Yeah.
If you're on the West Coast, I'm hoping you're in your jammies with a nice bowl of cereal, enjoying
Munching
this
away.
beautiful wonder.
Yeah.
Unless you like to sleep in, then like have all the cereal in the world at 12 p.m.
And that's the only thing that's different about today's show. Nothing else is different today.
Nothing.
Nobody's
Nothing
missing.
Holy shit.
It's me!
It's me! I'm not!
Fake Hector!
Guys, Matt Acevedo is here.
Hello, everybody.
It is your first time being on Hyper Heroes.
It is,
I
yeah.
cannot believe that.
I can't
First
believe that
time
either, yeah.
We have him the entire time.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I've done the
That's
intros,
true.
I've done some trailer reactions with you guys.
That's
but
right,
like
that's
not
right.
like this.
I know.
We're going to talk so much.
I don't understand why it's taken this long to have you on the show.
Oh,
Because you're
guys.
super freaking busy,
I know.
that's why.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
We had Zach on a couple weeks ago, and I was like, Zach, I think this is the first time you've been on since Christmas of last year.
Yeah. It took a while to get him back on.
I know.
too.
We still have Naeem we got to get on here.
I know.
Yeah.
Naeem's got to come on here for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking at you. Yeah. But thank you so much for being here,
It's
man.
my pleasure, guys.
Yeah,
For those
buddy.
of you who don't know me, I am the community manager here at Hyper RPG. I
Yes.
help along behind the scenes. I help Lucas whenever he needs me. I help set up social media. I do all that kinds of stuff. So if you're tweeting at Hyper RPG, it's probably me. So
That's right.
come say hi.
Running all
Yeah.
the social media accounts.
Yeah, trying.
Trying.
Woo!
It's
Learning
fun.
a lot. A
It's
lot.
fun. No, it's not. The other thing you might have noticed is that this is a premiere. This is not a live stream. We were doing the live streams on Thursday night every single week. We were doing them pretty late at 9:30. We had to switch the schedule around because people have jobs. People, some stuff is changing. So
I wake up at 5 a.m. every day now, so,
So being
can't
here
be
till
out
11
late.
is not exactly the most
Not
ideal
good.
thing.
Not good at all. Getting
So
home
we're
at
going
like
to be premiering.
12,
Yeah, you get
not
home
good.
late and you get sleep for a few hours,
Yeah,
and it's
not
not
no
a
bueno.
thing.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna be doing the live streams until the end of the year. We're gonna start talking about maybe how we can incorporate the live streams back next year and how we can bring it back, because Saturday is really hard for us because everyone has. You're watching this right now. We are literally walking into a screening of The Iron Giant in
That's
Hollywood.
right. We
Oh,
are.
what? You guys are doing that?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Vista
That's
Theater
Are you
tomorrow,
coming?
10:30
Is
a.m.
that happening
are you
tomorrow?
Are you sitting in the theater with us right now?
Is this happening? Wait,
this
is there
thing?
tickets
Wait.
available? 'Cause I'll totally
Yes.
go.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure there's still tickets available.
Hector's going. Keller's going.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
going. Adam's going.
Yeah.
Cynthia's going.
Guys,
Is
when you
Emily
watch
going?
this, I will be crying my eyes out at this time.
So Saturdays, obviously, it's not something that we can commit to every single week. So
Right,
instead of
right,
doing
right.
that, we thought we'll just we'll pre-record the show.
Friday
We'll
night.
premiere it. Yeah, we'll premiere it on Saturdays for you guys.
Yeah.
So we can also watch it together as a community. I am probably in the chat room right now talking to you guys.
During
And
the
I will
Iron
type.
Giant.
I will type something right now just to confirm that.
Type,
And
type,
there
type.
it is.
Type.
Oh, yeah.
But we still want to be able to find a way to bring the community together to watch the episodes together, because we love reading the chat room,
Yeah.
and the live interaction gives us that. But still with Premiere, because it saves everything that you guys talk about,
Yeah.
we still want to hear your guys' feedback on everything that we're discussing,
Yeah.
and in the comments below and all that sort of stuff on Twitter, on Instagram, everything.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue doing that at the very least, and I'm super glad that we can do that we have the opportunity to premiere the episodes every single week. Trailer reactions will remain the same. When Avengers 4 drops, God forbid it drops
During the Iron Giant.
During
right
the
now,
Iron Giant?
Right now.
It's okay, because if it does, then we'll just run back over
I know.
here
True.
and record
I
it
know,
real
I
quick.
know.
So,
But
yeah.
trailer reactions will still be the same reviews.
Yeah.
We'll get them out when we watch the movies.
Nothing
and all that
else
sort of stuff.
changes.
It's literally just this change, and we'll see how it goes in the new year. And if we need to make some adjustments, we'll try to do our best.
Yeah.
But everyone's working, and the studio is being used up for other stuff as well. So
Yeah.
we all got to be a little flexible.
Yeah.
So don't be mad. It's okay.
Change is okay.
We're still
It's
here.
We're
part
still here
of
for
life.
you every week.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Don't worry about
Speaking of change that pissed people off, let's just jump right into this.
it. You mean
Daredevil.
this first one?
Daredevil,
Yeah.
canceled by Netflix.
That's rough,
That's
man.
crazy.
This is
That's-
the third show in the Marvel Netflix universe that
Yeah.
has been canceled.
Yeah.
Iron Fist, Luke Cage, now this. I think it's safe to assume that as soon as Jessica Jones Season 3 and Punisher Season 2 premiere,
It'll be like,
they're
we're done.
going
They're
to get
done.
chopped off.
Are, so are those in production at this point?
They are, I believe Punisher is, I think Punisher already wrapped filming, Jessica Jones wrapped filming. I think they're
Oh.
both in post-production.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
probably be out, early next year.
Yeah.
I think the usual trend is like March-ish, April, and then like one in the summer. So I think by like July, I'm pretty sure we're going to be wrapped on the Marvel Netflix television universe.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's done though. Like I feel like they're gonna bring it over to Disney's services. You know,
I read a tweet. I forgot who it was by.
It was one of the, I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's by one of the writers.
Was one of the writers said that
producers.
that Disney has no intentions of bringing it
No
over
way.
to
What do you think? Do you think it's just too dark?
They said it doesn't fit with their brand.
Yeah, because I think the intention of the Disney Plus brand is they want to keep it from G to PG-13. So that incorporates everything from animation to Disney, like proper Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilm, because Lucasfilm obviously has nothing that's R-rated.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically anything that's family friendly.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, which sucks. It
but
sucks.
the potential, there is, like, I guess the silver lining is if they do decide, and they've more or less said that, like, Iron Fist and Luke Cage are probably kind of like done. Like, they may not come back. With Daredevil, Netflix and Marvel both said that the adventures of Daredevil basically aren't over, that there's possibilities that we'll see him continue on in other Marvel projects, but they didn't specify whether it was Netflix, Cinematic Universe, or whatever.
I could see Daredevil showing up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
There's a huge question mark for the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Charlie Cox
it's very
killed
possible.
it.
It's very possible that they could be like, okay, we're just going to incorporate you in the MCU. Because if you really think about it, like, it's totally possible, mostly because of the fact that, like, these stories have been very, like, grounded, like literally grounded.
Ground level.
Exactly. Like, Hell's Kitchen has been, like, the main setting for most of these stories. So it's very possible that they could just be like, you know what, let's just put them into the movie universe and we can sort of, like, rework the history or the story and figure out sort of like how it would tie in. If they don't, they don't. But it's definitely a possibility.
It's crazy, dude. So the way I see Daredevil, season 1, like 90% of season 1 was fantastic. Season 2, it was only about 50%. The first half.
I feel like the stuff with the Punisher was the best.
Oh yeah,
the monologue. And it was the Punisher who stole the show, right?
Yeah.
And about 50% of that season was good, but season 3, you haven't seen season 3, have you?
I'm halfway through it right now. It's
Christ,
like
man.
real good.
Yeah.
It does not let up.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people were saying. They're like, season 1, pretty good for what it was. Like, people generally really liked it. Season 2, a lot of people were like, it's shaky.
50%.
But, like, the Punisher was dope. And season 3, it's like, this is the best. And then they cancel. They're like, you son of a bitches.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Well, you gotta watch that brand image, you know.
I know.
Well, I mean, it's Disney, guys. Like, the mouse is not gonna let that kind of stuff fly.
And here's the thing too: is like, you know, I think we like to associate even the Netflix Marvel stuff with Disney, which is true because it is all owned by Disney. But it's Marvel Entertainment who makes these Marvel TV.
Right.
It's Jeff Loeb, same person who does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the other Marvel shows. The relationship, I guess, with them and Netflix is not good. It started out really well when they made the deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of that came from the fact that, like, Netflix didn't really have a lot of original content in I think they signed the deal in 2013. So they didn't have a whole lot of original content back then. So for them to have Marvel say, hey, let's collaborate on some superhero shows, that was huge for them. And then we got Daredevil and everything else that led out of that. So I think at that time it was really big for Netflix. Netflix has also kind of like shifted things around a little bit.
Right.
They're not producing 13 episodes is not really a thing that they're doing anymore. They're sticking to stuff that's like 10 and under.
Yeah.
I guess Marvel did not want to budge. They were like, no, we want to do 13 episodes. Like the fact that we got a 7 or 8 episode Defender series, which I guess because it was marketed as like a mini series or a special, that makes sense to me. But I guess like they did not want to budge on doing less than 13 episodes. They were constantly having creative issues because they're having new showrunners every single season for all these shows. So I don't know. I think between that and them not really agreeing on like what seasons should come after what, like they were never in agreement of like, should it be Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, or Daredevil, Luke Cage? Like they're always at odds.
Jeff Loeb, isn't he attached to all of the animated projects though? Isn't he?
I don't know.
At least I thought he was like an executive producer.
He might be because if it's anything television based, then yes.
Yeah.
But I think the thing with the animated stuff, I think Marvel has like more control over that stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely
as opposed to, like,
straight
a partnership
Marvel
with Netflix.
stuff. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This, I mean, it sucks. Just because if this would have happened after season 2, I would have been like, yeah, no problem, just cut it out. Yeah, like no, I don't need to see it. The fact that we got a badass season 3.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate timing because I got chills on that final episode of Daredevil. Like the final climactic scene was it was absolutely amazing, and it's gonna suck. Like we don't know what capacity they're gonna use Charlie Cox to. Like we don't know what they're gonna bring in. Like I really hope they don't. If they plan to use Daredevil again, I hope they don't recast him as like something else.
Well, because it's like it's Charlie Cox, Deborah Ann Woll, Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. What happens to John Bernthal as the Punisher? There's like all these elements, and it's like to let all that go to waste would suck, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, granted, given our reaction when we first saw that trailer for Punisher, when his wife just gets blasted in the face, you're just like, this.
We've never had a simultaneous reaction like that to anything.
And that was like all of us in the back too, just like, oh shit, I can't believe that happened.
It stopped us mid conversation.
Yeah.
And what sucks is that it feels like Disney's not going to let that stuff fly anymore. Like it's going to be kind of superheroes, like the more fantastic side of superheroes, rather than like the nitty gritty
Marvel Knights kind of.
Exactly, Marvel Knights kind of thing. Absolutely. So I don't know. Is this a good sign? Like,
well, it's like, what else are they going to change? I mean, they're taking over. They're merging with all these properties. Like, how is that going to affect everything else? If they're saying this now with Marvel, like, is it just because it's Marvel that they want to make it lighter, or like, and what about these other properties? Are they going to tone those down too, or are they gonna
just cancel them altogether? What are they gonna do?
I'm truthfully I'm genuinely surprised, and it's a lot of it's because I haven't really watched the show in recent seasons and stuff, but just sort of the trajectory of where the show kind of came from and now where it's at. People tend to actually really love this show now, but the fact that like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has outlived every single Netflix show is a little surprising.
It is.
Because when it was originally announced that they were going to do these 4 shows and then lead into the Defenders, people were super, super excited about it. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the hype for it had kind of died. And it feels like, for whatever reason, they've done like this thing where they're like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has gone up and the other shows have gone down.
Got the longevity.
I don't know what the viewership is for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but
I'm not sure.
as someone who watches that show, it's like really, really good right now.
Are you up to date? You've seen every episode?
Yeah, it's really good.
I've heard it's gotten much better.
The last, I would say, I mean, I've enjoyed it since season 2, but the last like 2 seasons, once they went into once they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they went into like the kind of Matrix scene place, or even before that when they went to the plant, it was. I feel like it's just they've been pushing it where I didn't think I would see them go. And
that's interesting.
Plus they
this
like
last season
Ghost Rider at one point.
Ghost Rider.
Robbie Reyes was in it.
And then the Ghost Rider blended in with LMD, and it was just like it blew my mind. I thought it was so cool. And then now, like this last story was like in the space in the future with these Kree warriors. It was crazy.
It was dope. And I guess it's gonna be interesting to see like how the events of Infinity War influenced that show.
Yeah,
Have
it's
they
so
talked
subtle
about it yet or no?
It's no, because it's like they haven't yet, and like it's like that, every time they bring in something from the MCU, it's very subtle. It doesn't really affect much. There was one that did, and that was the Hydra reveal,
right.
Which makes sense.
Well, that makes sense. That was awesome. That was great.
Yeah. If there's one thing you do, it has to be that. You can't avoid that.
Yeah, I mean,
like Winter Soldier changed the MCU, and it was like, if you ignore that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or lightly, like, no, it needs to completely change your show.
Right. Yeah, and that happened the last 5 episodes of season 1.
So
like season 1 was like, okay, this is kind of fluffy, weird, and then it's like, oh, what?
Interesting. Yeah. But I feel like they are going to have to address it.
The
snapping it affected everybody, not just not just the main characters in the universe. So,
and I mean, maybe they can use that to their advantage with these Marvel Netflix things.
I mean,
and
that's
if they need to rework it, they're like, the events of the MCU caused this.
Yeah.
We had to change things up, and it's in a different time.
You should have photoshopped this picture to have him like going off into dust.
I mean, pretty much is on his own.
He's just like floating away as ashes.
I know.
Yeah.
I guess
Daredevil.
I guess also because Disney is going to eventually fully like once the deal is officially. Kaiju, if you could not knock the camera down, that'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
I think once it's officially sort of like the acquisition is completed, the whole thing is like actually done. Is there potential that these shows can move to Hulu? But like they did say that the shows are going to stay on Netflix, like the previous seasons. Do you do seasons
I
1
don't
through
think so.
3 on Netflix and then start 4 on Hulu.
I don't see any logical reason to continue on that route.
Especially with what they're putting out with,
Yeah.
on Freeform, they have Cloak and Dagger and
Right,
Runaways.
right.
So many
There's such
shows.
like, it feels more Disney for lack of a better term. It feels more, like kind of teenager, and less gritty.
Yeah.
It's still, I still like those shows.
Which I think
Right.
works for those shows.
Yeah, exactly. But it feels like they're just trying to. I don't see it coming to Hulu, man.
Sure.
Matt, how much time do you have to watch all these shows?
I stay up very late and then I wake up early, and I multitask. I play my Nintendo Switch and I watch the shows I need to watch.
I'm that because Zach does that too. Zach and Malika do that.
Crazy.
And we've been watching Titans every single week.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
But like I really have to watch it.
Right.
Yeah, I can't
right,
multitask on
right.
Titans.
I can't do it with any show. Like if I try to do if I'm prepping this show, for example, and I'm trying to do notes and make graphics and stuff, and I have Titans playing another window, I'm like this.
Yeah.
With this monitor, there's nothing happening, and then I'm just watching Titans.
Right.
I don't know how you guys do it. I find it really
crazy.
impressive.
I've been doing it since college, man. Just multitasking.
How
like
do you
doing
absorb
homework.
that much information all at one time?
I honestly find myself getting like slower at it, and I'm like,
Oh
my
no!
God. I'm like, oh no! I find
Old
myself
age-
rewinding
old
more. I'm
age
like,
is
oh,
setting
That's
crap.
what happens.
Matt.
I end up rewinding, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I should just like hold off and just watch this when I can watch it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not caught up on a lot of stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. We had Thanksgiving. I caught up on some movies.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the holiday break coming up at the end of December, and I'm like, great. I could binge watch a lot of shows and movies.
Yeah.
And now we've got some good superhero stuff coming.
I mean, you
I'm
have to
very
watch
excited.
season 3.
Season 3 is really.
of
I didn't
Daredevil.
watch
I know.
Iron Fist season 2, and Jessica Jones. I didn't see those two.
I don't remember if I watched Iron Fist season
You
2.
didn't. You didn't.
Yeah.
I guarantee you
I
didn't,
don't
because
think
you would
so.
have been talking about
That's true. How much I liked it more than
how
season
much
1?
you liked it more, but also kind of like the crazy place they took it to.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a buddy.
That's right. Yeah.
I had a buddy of ours, Chris Hardy. Say what's up to Chris Hardy if he's watching.
Chris.
So
Hey,
he
Chris.
he's the guy from the UK that sent
Yep,
us all the stuff.
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So so Chris, he knows how much I hate the show, and he messaged me one day. He's like, hey, I know you hate this show. Can I spoil it for you? And he told me like the end of it, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Son of a bitch.
whatever, just cancel the show. Like, just I don't even care at this point. Just like I don't want
I
to.
have a vague idea of sort of what happens.
Yeah,
but
you probably have read some spoilers somewhere, but like,
yeah.
no, it's,
Yeah, I'm just curious to see like where this Netflix Marvel thing is gonna go, because like I would like. Here's my thing, and I've talked about it ad nauseum. I always felt like these shows just had too many episodes,
I feel that way too,
and
for sure.
and I think a lot of people felt that way. Like
Yeah.
we did a binge marathon of Stranger Things season 2, very easy. Like all the shows that are 8 to 10 episodes
Yeah.
are very doable.
That's a sweet spot to me, I think.
Yeah, I just binge watch Homecoming. 10 episodes, but they're 30 minutes.
Oh, that's my
Like,
favorite.
I can binge, like, that stuff is easy. But, like, 13 hours, we live stream those in my apartment.
oh my
And
god.
we'd
Yeah.
get up at, like, 7 in the morning, and we'd start at
Yeah.
9, and we'd be going
Look,
till midnight.
I'm more
and it's like,
inclined to.
Jesus.
I'm more inclined to watch things like Titans. I like weekly releases.
Mm-hmm.
It feels easily digestible. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm not in a race with other people to like figure out how it's done. Like
Right,
I could
right.
kind of set my own pace.
It does
Yeah.
feel like a big social media sort of, like,
it's this
not a
weird
cash-
FOMO thing when it
Yeah.
comes to watching TV.
Because
and
it's like
ridiculous.
Because you wake up the next morning, people are like starting to talk about it. You're like, bro, can you not spoil
Yeah.
it? You should have watched it. I'm like, it's been out for 10 hours, you dick.
I think I literally did that to Luke. It's like, did you watch Sabrina yet?
Yeah. It's been out for 10 hours,
Episode
man.
6.
Give me a break. But yeah, and and that's the thing I do like about Titans. And like honestly, I think also Titans has like that unique advantage that not everyone has the DC Universe app.
Yeah,
so it's like
that's
a
true.
really tight circle of people who watch that
Yeah.
show.
I'm really enjoying
But I
it.
like it a lot,
it's
and
a good
I
show.
like being able to just like watch an episode.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll miss a week, so I'll watch 2, and I'm
Yep.
like, great, I'm watching this at my pace.
Yeah.
But it's very fun. It's very easy to watch.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
with this
that
stuff, it's like,
releasing
God.
format. It's old
Yeah.
school, and like I said, I don't know. I think we get given too much at once with a lot of things,
Yeah.
and like I don't know how to process it.
And I would say the difference is in the advantage that a show like Titans has, and I think Krypton had the same thing
Yeah.
when it was on Sci-Fi. It's 10 episodes,
Yes.
not 23.
Yeah.
Like I would
Yeah.
love to watch. Like honestly, the only shows that I will watch from the CW this year, when they actually air, is the crossover.
The big crossover episodes
with Batwoman and Superman and all the other characters.
Yeah,
that is the only thing that I will watch. That I'll actually watch like live.
Yeah,
because all the other shows, it's like, do I want to commit 23 weeks of my life? And it's longer because they take breaks.
And
it's like 30 weeks. I'm like, no.
And you get into this pattern, this trap with the CW shows in particular, with Arrow and Flash. You know that the big bad is going to be there literally till the episode 23 of that season.
And then that's when you find out like the big reveal or what it
who
is.
saboteurs.
To me, it takes something away from it. I still watch it. I'm up to date on Arrow and Flash, and I'm getting back caught up on DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
How, Matt? I cannot comprehend how you do all this.
So when you say you go to bed late and wake up early, does that mean you sleep from like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.?
Like 7 or 8. Probably
you're gonna die soon. My God,
I'm doing my thing. I'm doing whatever.
Trust me, no, I know. I was in that boat for a long time, and I would do that too.
There were sasacrifices. I haven't been watching much anime this season.
Okay, that
tough.
makes sense.
But yeah, and that's like I've said this like so many. Another thing I've said multiple times is I wish that they would take those CW shows, and cut them down to 10 episodes and do like 10 weeks of a show, and then 10 weeks later start another one.
Because right now, especially I think
you could like share days with shows.
Exactly, and right now it's like it's a lot of just Monster of the Week still with Flash. Like it's still Monster of the Week with like maybe a little bit of details on like what the bigger story is.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Arrow's kind of the same. Arrow's a little better this season though, I think. But I don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
It's that trap of just like the Monster of the Week. It's like, well, I don't need to spend 23 episodes doing this.
It's the Smallville model. It's the Smallville formula.
It's not even. It's like that's how TV's
been
since it started. You know, that's just how it was, and I feel like it's for me it's a drag.
Yeah.
Just because I'd rather like you said, Adam, have a 10 episode streak of like 10 solid episodes. Monster of the Week, whenever I start getting a Monsters of the Week, I feel like they get kind of lazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're just killing time right now.
It's a contractual obligation to fill 23 episodes. And I'm like, no.
It's like, come on, guys. Like, I can't keep this up.
Flash season 1 is like the rare gem in those CW shows where from like beginning to end,
you're like,
they found 23 individual stories that I was like, this was good.
Good shit. That was a great season.
Really good. But it's like never felt the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
season 2 was good, but it didn't feel as good. It started to get into that, like, it fell into that cycle. And I'm like, oh.
My favorite Flash moments, my favorite Flash stereotype is, hey, can I talk to you about something really quick?
Oh,
everybody does that.
Yeah.
Cisco.
Yeah.
Caitlin, everyone.
Hey,
everyone.
Augie, can I talk to you?
Yeah.
The other room.
So he's a bad guy.
Lucas, pan the camera to the other side of the room, please. And conversation.
But I guess we'll see what happens with this stuff. A lot of people were saying like, oh, well, I'm glad all these other shows got canceled because Jessica Jones season 2 was the strongest thing they had. And I'm like, don't get excited, bro. When season 3 comes out,
it's gone.
And Punisher season 2 comes out,
it's getting the axe.
They're done.
Yeah.
So don't be too excited. So we'll see.
Right.
But this next story, I know you two boys are very excited.
I'm very excited about
What were you two doing before the show started? Please indulge.
You put up the microphone?
Yeah,
Can
I
I not
don't
scream into the microphone?
I don't know. I'm really loud and Lucas hates it, so.
Lucas is probably going to hate my guts right now.
I think he's ready
But you have to. So why are we doing this though, Adam?
Explain.
So our boy, Jaime, is officially been announced as the Blue Beetle coming up in production.
Yep.
As when is it coming out? Or
I don't think they said when it was coming out. They just said that there's a script being made. So a movie is being made of Blue Beetle.
A movie of Blue Beetle.
Jaime Reyes.
Jaime
Not
Reyes.
Ted Cord.
And I gotta go. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Very
you guys got
excited
Hector beat
about
on
this
that,
one.
by the way.
We got. Oh yeah, I'm good at the grito.
Hector. Sorry, fired.
Hector's got to step up his grito game.
Oh yeah, dude.
The grito game not on point.
But this is really exciting stuff.
It is.
The Warner Brothers franchise beat to the first female-led superhero movie, and now they're beating Marvel to the punch at the first Mexican-led superhero movie.
I'm so excited about
I know.
It's amazing.
And I think like as much shit as Warner Brothers gets for a lot of stuff that's happened with their movies, look, the buzz around Aquaman is so good. I'm super excited for that movie.
Me too.
pumped.
I'm
And
really
look,
excited for it.
If the success of Aquaman means that we had 3 solo movies with Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman, where they were really great, and the team up movies were so. Some people like others more than like other movies.
Yeah.
I'm very like meh on them, all three of them. Batman vs Superman, Justice League, and Suicide Squad. Probably Batman. I think I like Batman vs Superman maybe the most. But in any case, like, to walk into a cinematic universe where I'm like, Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Aquaman are 3 solid movies.
That's pretty good.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're trying to make like these big like female-led superhero movies with Birds of Prey, and now you're having Jaime Reyes,
Blue Beetle.
I'm like, okay, you're actually like really trying to do something different.
Yeah.
You're doing something that like Marvel didn't do in the first 10 years of its existence.
Hasn't even acknowledged it.
No. Captain Marvel is
Nothing.
the first female-led superhero movie that we're getting in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
Yeah.
We've obviously had female characters, but like Pepper, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch, they've been like supporting characters. And Black Widow sort of like earned her way into being like the main female character of that universe.
Which sucks because if anybody, she deserved it before anybody did. But
totally, she's been there since Iron Man 2.
I do like the fact that they kind of changed it. So I was watching one of the interview of the Infinity War things, and they were talking about how there's a beautiful moment when Scarlet Witch is about to get her ass beat by approximately midnight. There was 2 other strong women there backing her up to save her life. You know, like
that is
we had not seen that before, which was great.
Dope.
You know, and that was great.
And it's cool to see like the evolution of the Marvel universe to like incorporate that and make that like let's let the ladies have their moment.
You cared about that fight, and you were like, Cap ain't gonna save anybody in this one. Black
Panther's
Captain
America.
Nobody.
Let the ladies do the work.
Let the ladies do the work, and they were very capable.
Yeah.
And then you had Scarlet Witch exhibit some powers that is basically stronger than anybody on the field at that point. So that was way cool, and I like that. I feel like DC is at a point where they're like, well, we ain't got shit to lose.
And
let's give it to my brown boys. Let's give it to my.
And Blue Beetle is like a really cool choice because to me, is Green Lantern still on the slate? I might.
No,
they took it out,
Lantern
right?
Corps is on the slate. Jeff Johns is developing it. It had a 2020 release date.
I remember that, but it's now gone.
Right
now,
it's So I think the other smart thing that they did is they kind of like abandoned giving us updated release date schedules every year, which I'm like, cool. Just tell us like what's in production. Yeah. And the fact that like the only thing they talked about at Comic-Con was Aquaman, Wonder Woman 84, and Shazam. I'm like, great. I don't need to know about movies. I don't need to know about maybes. Just give me the definitives. Well, and like now, we're getting Birds of Prey, obviously. Then this movie. So I'm like, cool. Like let's go.
To me, like it opens up a few things. One, I love that we're getting a Latino representation in cinema. I think it's amazing. And especially with like, I feel like my family, like we don't really watch the same like nerdy stuff, but all my family, like my cousins and stuff like that, they all love superhero stuff. So it's like I think it's like really appropriate that he's like that's the next step. I think that demographic's pretty big.
Right.
I'm gonna get some stats. It's gonna blow your butt out of the water.
Yeah. And then not just that, but if you guys don't know Blue Beetle, he deals with he gets his powers from this the scarab species, which is like on another planet, and I'm blanking on the planet's name.
Hector's not here.
Hector would know that. But he gets it from there, and there's a whole species of like these scarab beetles. And to me, it's also like a good way to introduce we'll just get like a sample of it, and maybe like the bad guy's like another one like hunting the pack or whatever. But I think it opens up the possibility in a smart way to like ease us into like a Green Lantern Corps DCU kind of universe.
Expanded universe.
Kajida.
Yeah, and I think that's how you do it. Kajida, to me, like this seems like the way to do it.
Yeah.
Some people might say it's like similar to how Marvel did it, but I don't know. Like you need to spoon feed people who like don't know this kind of
for
thing,
sure.
So I think this is a good way to
the mythologies it can be kind of weird if you're not used to it. You're like, so wait, he's taking on bug powers. Like Blue Beetle is kind of like a weird name, but when you realize that the extent of his powers, it's really, really cool.
It's dope.
And I really like the fact that I just can't get over the fact that they're just going for it.
Yeah.
Like it's such a cool thing because like when I don't watch movies with my family, and I didn't grow up watching movies with my family because there was nothing that they could relate to.
Yeah.
Like my family didn't grow up watching Star Wars, so I watched Star Wars when I was 27, when I had to venture out on my own. The only movie that I watch with my parents that we still watch and will still get a kick out of is The Lion King. My dad loves The Lion King and Nacho Libre.
That's right.
My parents fucking love Jack Black, dude. They love him like
no other. We adopted him. He's one of us.
Okay, so if Nacho Libre could not have
Jack
happened.
Black is basically the me of the Mexican culture.
Yes, he is.
He's as honorary as I am.
He is.
I saw Nacho for Halloween.
He totally
one year.
is, because imagine doing that movie in 2018.
Yeah.
You could not have done
You
that
couldn't
movie
do
in
it.
2018.
No.
And the fact that he did it and he's so beloved by the Mexican culture,
It's so true.
Amazing.
Yeah,
It's
like,
so amazing.
All the
That's lightning
Latinos
in
are
a
like,
bottle.
we loved it. Like,
Yeah.
I
my
freaking
God.
loved it.
Oh my God.
We didn't see it. I was like, I don't see a problem with this. This is really funny.
No. And there's no problem because his dad was white and his mom was Mexican.
Yep.
So he is Mexican, just
Right.
doesn't look like one or sound
Yeah.
like one.
Yeah.
But so that's the thing. Like, I hope that this movie has enough nods to the culture. Oh, and they love Coco too, but I don't watch Coco all the time because
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
too
want to.
sad.
I don't want to dehydrate
yeah.
from my tears.
I don't want to turn to
falling
the
out of my
Sahara
face.
Desert every time I turn the TV on.
Exactly. And so it'll be cool to. They don't watch any of these superhero movies at all because it's just like mumbo
nothing
jumbo
for
to
them.
them. There's
Yeah.
nothing for them. They speak English fine and everything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just there's no interest. But if I were to show them a Mexican superhero, I'm sure they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool."
Yeah.
Plus, I think
Alright.
the cool thing about this too is this is the third Blue Beetle.
Yes.
This is
Yeah,
not
it's not
it
the
is.
original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this is not Dan Garrett. This is not Ted Kord.
Right.
And so, like, you're also jumping ahead into the legacy of that character.
Yeah.
So what it does is, like, it allows you to, like, sprinkle the seeds for the other Blue Beetles, for Booster Gold.
Yeah.
And, like, this movie could or couldn't. It doesn't have to have Booster Gold. Like, if
No.
you do, it'd be cool.
That would be
But, like,
crazy.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if you make it, if it's solely focused on Jaime Reyes and how he becomes a Blue Beetle,
Yeah.
totally appropriate. If it leads to Ted Kord, you know, Booster Gold and all that stuff, that's great. But I like the fact that it's like, you know what? Because you can get away with it with a character like Blue Beetle because he's not known to modern, like the common man, the everyday man and woman has no idea who Blue Beetle is.
Yeah.
Right,
And I know a lot of people are going to be like, Blue Beetle is so popular. I'm like, guys,
In our
our
communities,
community,
it is,
we know
yes.
who Blue Beetle and
Yes.
Booster Gold
Yeah.
are. In the greater world where the
Right,
other
right,
billions of people exist, they don't know who Booster Gold and Blue
Right.
Beetle are.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially, I know a lot of
So
people.
you have flexibility with it.
I know a lot of people who love these movies.
Yeah.
Don't know anything about the comic books.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're just like everything that's presented to them. Their first superhero was Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
there's
so true.
like decades of stuff beforehand.
Totally.
So I expect this to be a very like a very good intro to this character, but also you're right, Matt. It is going to be a good jumping point for like the bigger cosmic era of DC, and also this bodes well for us seeing Jon Stewart too as being the Green Lantern, which
Yeah.
we all want to see.
Yeah.
I
Like,
wanna
we
see it
don't
so
need to
bad.
go legacy characters from the beginning to the end.
We
You
don't.
know?
Yeah.
And I feel like you said, Green Lantern would be a super easy thing to slip into this one since we're
Yeah.
already out in space and
Yeah.
we're seeing
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It could be like, I don't know, because Jaime's not like supposed to have it, right? If I
Right.
recall, if I read the
Right.
new 52 version of it,
Yeah, yeah.
but so maybe it's like a post-credit scene. You see like
Yeah.
you just like the ring, like you just see it, and it's like, dude,
The
we're
ring.
distress call, or like
Yeah.
air, like unidentified things, like something's
Yeah,
wrong,
or
an
like,
anomaly,
or like
you know?
that thing we were tracking has landed on Earth.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know,
I'm
something
like,
like that, and
oh,
you're
yeah.
just like,
Sick.
oh fuck,
Yeah, yeah.
and then they're all, John, that's in your sector. He's like, got it.
Yeah. Dude, that'd be so sick. That'd be so sick.
man.
I do think too that I think DC is gonna go. They're kind of shifting into a little lighter too. I feel like this movie will be similar to the
Careful,
tone
Matt.
of. I don't know what I'm walking into. Look, guys, I don't know. I'm
Guys,
just a guy.
don't
who's
even
I'm
let
just a regular
Matt
guy.
speak.
Matt,
Let
have you
Matt
ever seen a dumpster on fire?
Oh no, I don't go
That's the
into. I
comment
don't go
section.
into the
Okay,
comments.
good,
I don't
good.
go down dark alleys.
Then don't worry,
without my
just
dad,
speak your
so.
mind.
Keep going, then,
Keep your
baby.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just think that like Shazam is gonna be, it's gonna have like the similar tone
Yeah.
as that.
Right.
Totally.
Is that so bad?
No,
Is
yeah,
that
no,
really bad?
No.
Don't,
oh, yeah.
To us, it's perfectly logical.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with what you're saying.
But I think it'll have like a similar tone. It'll be a little
Yeah.
lighter, but it'll still,
I mean, we saw Shazam floss dancing, so
Yeah.
like
yeah.
it's
But
going
it's also
to
like-
not take itself so seriously.
But it's also you look at a lot of the reception that like a movie like Aquaman has gotten, and it's like it's the most Marvel movie of the DC universe, and people get so mad at that.
I saw your Twitter thread.
Oh, I know.
It
My
was
Twitter
I saw
thread
that.
turned into a
a
dumpster
shit
fire.
show, yeah.
And
Yeah.
what a lot
That was
of
on your lawn.
I know. Like, oh, it's on my lawn. I can't put it out. Mute. Okay.
Just mute everybody on Twitter right
I did. And it's one of those things like DC, and it's not all DC fans. It's like a very small pocket of DC fans who are like the most outspoken fans of Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel, which like if you love those movies, that's fine.
Good on you.
But don't convince people that they're good. If people don't like them, then they don't like them.
Right.
I'm not going to convince you that Thor Ragnarok is good. You either watched it and loved it or you didn't. Like, that's it.
And that's your opinion, and you're very welcome to it.
Yeah, so like when people get so mad, and I'm like, guys, you do realize that the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe was based off of the tone of Superman the movie from 1978. That is what the Marvel Universe was based on. Kevin Feige talks about it every time there's like an interview and like, what's your big inspiration? It's like, well, before we start the production on every Marvel movie, we watch Richard Donner's Superman the movie. And I'm like, you guys are so mad, but like the influence came from a DC film. It doesn't matter that's a 40-year-old movie. That's what general audiences love. That's what they connect to.
And I feel like those types of people too are the ones that are quick to forget that the X-Men animated series was all about persecuted mutants who were chased out of their homes by their own parents sometimes because they didn't like that their kids were mutants and this weird gross thing, and like there was huge political things going on back then with that show. And people just kind of gloss over it, and they're like, no, like we need dark and gritty.
Well, a lot of it is also people who like have only been reading comics for a certain amount of time. Like someone retweeted my thing and was like, yeah, man, when I read Batman Hush, Injustice, Watchmen, Long Halloween, this and this, I definitely think of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the tone of the Marvel movies. I'm like, bro, you do realize you named 10 comic books, some of which exist in their own timeline or in an alternate universe or are one-offs that don't encompass 80 years of publishing history of DC Comics. Yeah. They've written over 10,000 comics. Like, you can't take 10 and be like, this is the tone of what the movie should be. Like,
exactly.
No. You need to look at the whole enchilada.
Yes.
And you need to be like,
yes, you do.
But like, and especially because like the tone of the characters are so different. So it's like, I think the best decision that they have made is to just say, we're going to create 2 different universes, potentially. We're going to have...
We don't even know if that's the decision they made, right? Yeah.
We're going to have Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, potentially Blue Beetle, Birds of Prey. And they're going to exist in a shared universe. So we think. As far as we know, all those movies will exist in a shared universe, including Birds of Prey, because it's Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. But then we're going to do Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie.
Right.
We're going to do it darker, probably. I believe it's going to be rated R, just like Birds of Prey. But it'll be its own thing. So it's like, you can have 2 parallel universes going where it's like, hey, we're going to make superhero movies for everyone, where we can introduce all of our legacy characters and some new ones, but we can also do like the one-off Joker movie where you know the Joker.
You mean like their comics have been doing for the past 80 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm all about it, and I think we've seen from Warner Brothers that their strength currently is not team-up movies. In my opinion, for me, it's the solo stuff that works. Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, based on what everyone's saying, amazing. Shazam looks great. We'll see what happens with Birds of Prey. It could be potentially like the first time that a team-up movie is like exceptional, which if it is, great. And I think they need to just like slowly work towards Justice League, Justice Society, Legion of Super, like whatever they end up doing, the Titans, whatever they end up doing.
League, anything,
like just build to it. And I think like with these 3 solo movies, I think they sort of answer their own question of like what works, and it's like just build the characters and then bring them together.
And then we have the multiverse movie events, Titansverse, the Arrowverse.
I mean, I'm
verse the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, here's the thing:
verse the Invincible movie that's coming out.
The multiverse is such a prominent part of DC.
It is. It's huge. It's a huge
that
part.
Like, I mean, the whole crossover on CW is called Elseworlds, and it's all about that. And it's been explored in The Flash for the last few seasons. So it's like, I'm okay with DC venturing off and being like, we're going to start creating a multiverse. I think where you get into trouble is when you're doing like 4 movies a year. Do like 1 or 2 movies from each. You know, like do a maximum of 3. Like don't go crazy. Because you also got to remember there's other superhero
3 is
movies.
even too much.
I think
this
so
point,
too.
Honestly,
I'm cool with just like next year Shazam and Joker. That's all I need.
Leave it alone.
One's in the beginning of the year, one's in the fall, and I'm like, I'm good.
And lick it and pass it. Lick it and pass it.
Lick it and pass it. We got Marvel movies coming out. We've got like plenty of other stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to be oversaturated with superhero stuff. It makes the year really fun to go to the theater and be like, I'm gonna watch all of this.
I can only sacrifice so much sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then people want us to marathon everything before everything comes out.
Plus like
Can't do that.
Superhero movies are not the only like franchises anymore.
Right.
Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
You know, like all these other things.
Not Amityville, the James Wan horror universe is also.
The Conjuring universe?
Yeah, the Conjuring universe.
So
that's a thing now too.
Here's a cool stat that was in this article that I'm going to read to you. According to the Motion Picture Association of America, the MPAA, in 2017, Hispanic/Latino audiences had the highest per capita attendance at the movies, going to the movie an average of 4.5 times a year. Latinos make up 18% of the population, and they buy 24% of the movie tickets sold in the United States.
I love all these.
It is also worth noting, superhero movies tend to draw the most diverse audiences, as Latinos made up 22% of the audience for Wonder Woman and 21% of the audience for Spider-Man Homecoming.
I love that.
Orale.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. You think about it, and like all these movies.
But it makes total sense.
Yeah, all these movies are about, I don't know, like outcasts and people who don't fit in.
Yeah.
And like that's why I've always loved them, because they've made me feel like I had a place.
Yeah.
You know? And I love that. I love that kind of stuff. I think it attracts a lot of people, especially like the Latino community.
Yeah.
You know, I know like I said, all my cousins and stuff, we felt like that made us feel like we had a place.
I have a lot of cousins who have kids who are like coming into like 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids, and they always send them my way. They're always like, this guy loves superheroes. Like, go and talk to your Tío. Your Tío Agustin knows what's up. And then so, like, and especially since we worked in the movie industry, like, go talk to him because, you know, he's got all the information. So, like, it's built into our blood somehow. Like, it's just there. Even when I speak to cousins in Mexico, like, all their friends are into it. It's just like, we dig it. Like
we also dig.
We're a force.
We're also big into Dragon Ball. Everyone,
absolutely.
All the Latinos were all like Dragon Ball.
In the Latino neighborhood that I live in, there's just Dragon Ball Z like murals all over everything. Dude.
But again, that's also like an outcast, but he has immense power. You know what I mean? Like he's like Goku's like insane. He's like Superman. He crashed here and shit. You know?
Yeah.
That's why people sometimes like when the Fast and Furious movies came out, especially starting from Fast 5 moving on. People are like, why do these movies do so well? I'm like, well, I don't know. You've got white people, you've got Asian people, you've got black people, you've got Latino people, you've got like Indian people, and like, you know, like all these different like cultures of people mashed together in a movie franchise.
And they're all family.
They're all family.
And everyone likes Pitbull. Dale.
And barbecues.
Hey, life's really hard, but it's going to be okay because I've been there. It's Pitbull.
I've been there. We're family. And we barbecue at the end of the day.
The thing that like, because you never really like got into that franchise.
No.
The thing that like I'm bummed for you is you didn't go experience Fast 5, Furious 6, and Furious 7 in the theater on opening weekend.
I didn't, but I feel like if I binge those at Hector's house, I will get almost the exact same feeling.
I think you will. Going to the theater to watch those opening weekend here in LA, because LA is such amalgamation of like people and culture, it was the best experience. Like everyone is cheer. Like it's different than a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's still big and fun, but it's like because everyone who's in that theater is connecting to one character or to a couple characters, and to see their excitement is like it was like seeing Black Panther and being in a diverse theater of people, and like everyone is just like cheering for everybody in that. It's so electric and so fun, and so that's why I'm like, white people aren't the only ones who go to the movies, guys. I know it sounds crazy.
It is
as expensive as it is, people still go.
Thought, but
Disneyland is expensive as shit. You see everyone at Disneyland. You know?
Yep.
So
I'm excited, man. I think they opened up a lot of possibilities, and I think it's a smart move, and I'm excited to see Jon Stewart at the end with a wink. You know?
The other interesting thing
is a little glowing.
Zach Stentz, who was a writer on X-Men First Class. He also was one of the writers on Power Rangers. He did a Guillermo del Toro, and he went through like scripts that he had written that were unproduced. And I knew this because when I was working at Screen Junkies, he was coming on as a guest. He wrote a script for Booster Gold. Like,
really?
He was commissioned by Warner Brothers to write a script.
Oh.
And Greg Berlanti was supposed to direct that movie.
Whoa.
But we don't know the status of it.
Yeah.
Like, somebody asked him if he could go into more detail about it, and he was like, well, because it's an active development, I can't. So it's still a movie that's obviously like they're trying to figure something out with it. But that movie was supposed to have Booster and Blue Beetle, but Ted Kord Blue Beetle. So I'm wondering, like, can you have these stories run parallel where you have Jaime Reyes and Ted Kord? Is it at the same time? Like, can the two Blue Beetles coexist and you just are creating a legacy? Or do you, like, let one go and then introduce the other?
There's multiple Beetles, but I honestly, I feel like they maybe realized that they got a good demographic going.
Yeah.
Like, the next couple stories are about giving other people chances.
Yeah.
Like, giving other characters a different chance, and I feel like, okay, cool. Like, we have Booster Gold, who is a ex-football playing, like, all-American looking
Alex
white guy.
Puccinelli.
Yeah, it's Alex. It's
Pooch.
Pooch.
Yeah.
It's Pooch.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then we have his best friend who could be a Mexican guy. They're like, well, I mean, everybody's kind of going for the diversity right now.
Yeah.
Like, let's give other people a chance.
Guys, if we can get Pooch
as Booster.
Oh man,
as Booster,
that'd be amazing.
and like some dope ass Latino actor as Jaime Reyes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hector Navarro.
Jesus Christ, it'd be so good.
That'd be really good.
And if you get, it'll never happen. But if you got Taika, like a director like Taika Waititi directed, I'm like,
oh my god,
just
that's
it's
it.
done.
Just take
It's
all
gonna be
of
the
my
best.
money. Take all of my money.
Booster Gold would be crazy. Would you think it would be take place in the future, or like where he would time travel back in time and like?
That's the interesting thing is like, how do you create that?
Yeah.
Is it Booster from the future? Is he in modern time with the rest of the Justice League and Jaime? Like, it's interesting.
If anything, Booster could be their answer to Deadpool. Like,
sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Booster's very much kind
that
of
character
like
kind of goes in and out,
back and forth, not necessarily breaking the fourth wall. But if he
Yeah.
did, I'd be like, I'm kind of okay with it.
I would
'cause
prefer
this guy,
that.
This guy knows, like, he knows that he's going back in time for his own selfish purposes to like try to be rich and famous, basically.
Yeah.
But you know, like they could add that other dimension to him.
Sure.
And right now. In DC Comics, it seems like Harley Quinn's kind of being the Deadpool, but I don't think that's happening in the DC cinematic. You know?
Probably not.
Well, so they are doing. We'll talk about it in our next article, but let's just jump into the next article. Unless there's anything else that you guys want to talk about.
No, I'm good.
If there's like
I'm
a
good.
director, maybe.
A director.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Guillermo del Taco.
You know, I will say
Guaco de
this.
Taco.
I will
Guaco de
say,
Taco.
as much as I like things connecting and stuff like
Sure.
that, as someone who like buys comics on the weekly, man, like all these big events, like there's there's freaking what's the one right now? It's like Crisis, Undead, where someone's dies in the
Infinite
DC
Earth
family or
okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, there's death in the family. There's all these big events and stuff like that. It'd be
Yeah.
nice to just have a one shot. Like here's
Oh,
a one
sure.
shot. It's like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like a
Oh,
completed
man.
story.
My favorite one shot ever, guys, and maybe they'll make it into a movie, is the Green Lantern Holiday Special, where Hal
What?
Jordan has to teach Larfleeze, the Avarice Lantern, about about giving and the spirit of Christmas, and it's amazing.
Matt, if you can raise enough money to
make it happen?
that movie,
Yeah.
I want to be a part of it.
I would be okay
Yeah.
if that was in the Lego Batman universe, and they
That
just
would
did
be
it that way. I
awesome.
think that'd be
Oh.
sick, because
That'd be
you know,
really
That's an
dope,
idea.
actually.
but
That's an
you know, it
idea.
would just be nice to get like
Yeah.
sometimes like
Yeah.
let's just have a one shot and let's
Yeah.
just see a movie for a movie.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah,
We
we'll
need
see.
a good holiday movie.
a good
Like a
superhero
good
holiday
superhero
movie.
holiday special.
Batman, what's the last one that took place like during Christmas time? I want to say
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, right?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I wouldn't consider that a Christmas
No.
movie though.
As much
Yeah.
as it's a Shane Black thing to do, set everything at Christmas. I'm like,
Yeah.
Batman Returns was very.
No, we
Christmas.
need like a straight up holiday special where the Avengers are chilling in like Avengers Tower, and like
That's the Marvel DC crossover.
you know Santa Claus is an Omega level mutant in the Marvel
He is,
Cinematic
yeah.
Universe.
You know,
So you could bring in Santa Claus and he could kick everybody's
It's
ass.
true.
yeah.
He could
Played
be
by
like,
Kurt Russell.
yeah, because he just did that Netflix thing, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna watch maybe tonight.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so you know, let's get a Christmas special going.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, the next topic we're going to talk about, I wish Hector was here for this. So Hector got to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, I believe 2 days ago.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, man.
Didn't
did
even tell us.
No,
Yeah.
he did the press
Didn't
junket for it
tell us.
today, so I'm a little
Yeah.
bummed he can't be here to talk about it. But I think something very positive that's coming out of this movie, aside from the fact that this movie has been getting exceptional praise by people. A lot of
Right.
people saying it might be the best superhero movie of the year, which considering that it's a year where we've had Black Panther and Infinity War, I'm like,
Yeah.
damn,
That's
that's
insane, dude.
bold.
And
that's fucking
Venom.
crazy.
How can we?
Look, here's the thing. That movie was ridiculous and dumb, but I'm so glad I watched
it.
I had a great time.
I still haven't seen it.
Because, like, Tom Hardy is just so charming, and it's so ridiculous that I'm like, it's dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
You kind of need one of those movies every once in a while.
That's kind of the character of Venom, though.
And it kind of is aware of itself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I kind of dig the movie.
It was really fun, but it's so dumb.
Oh, I know.
I love it.
But in, like, the best way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, people are like, how could this movie make over $800 million? I'm like, well, it's ridiculous and fun.
It's
so
just
I kind of get
it.
it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But talking about Spider-Verse, so because of the incredible reception of this movie, so this movie has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes with 50 reviews already.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's pretty insane for a superhero movie.
Yeah. For an animated
superhero movie.
Well, this kind of like length, like this, world dimension breaking. Like
it's
a
multiverse movie.
Yeah.
Like that's insane to me.
Yeah.
That we brought in all these different Spider-Man characters from like all these different worlds, and it's like, oh, it works and it makes sense, and people are gonna love it and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's pretty bold. But so because of that, Sony is starting to piece together crew for a sequel. They want to put a sequel together. So right now they have a director, Joaquim Dos Santos, who did Avatar, Korra. He was a director in Justice League Unlimited. He is going to be directing the sequel of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And they got writer David Callahan, who, oddly enough, he was the writer of the first Expendables movie, but he's also a writer on Wonder Woman 1984.
And Zombieland 2.
And Zombieland 2, yeah. So that's pretty awesome. Like they obviously have been super confident about this movie for a while to like already greenlight this. And to be like, yes, we're going to make a sequel. Because truthfully, this movie could have came out and people could have walked out of the press screen and been like, well, it's pretty good. It does a few things well. It treats some of the characters well. Miles is great. But the rest of it's kind of like, meh. But the fact that like person after person after person is like, greatest Spider-Man movie, greatest. They're like, oh, we got to do a sequel.
I also feel like the way Hector talked about it, I haven't really heard him talk about another movie this way. I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that when you watch it, it's immediate. Like it has you immediately. Like it clicks with you. And by the end of it, I have a feeling that the people who were in the production process and like kind of the bigwigs who pull the strings are just like, this is gonna make $1 million. Like we already know that this. Yeah,
this
exactly.
This is our Spider-Man franchise.
Smoking their stomies, being like, make another one.
This will make billion.
Is that Sony? Sony Animation is like super rushed.
Like,
no, this is Avi Arad going, Spider-Man, my 7th movie, biggest hit in Marvel Universe
of all time.
Greatest film.
But I feel like this is one of those movies where once they saw it, they were just like, this is it. And we're going to go ahead and greenlight the next one because we love what you do so much.
Let me read Hector's tweet. This is what Hector tweeted out after he saw it. Pardon my French. Hector says, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie ever made. The game has changed. It is fucking phenomenal.
All caps. Very intense.
So you know that's some intensity.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said, well, we were talking to him in a little group chat that we have, and he's like, it moved me. It was incredible. I was so surprised by it. I was so unexpected. They did everything so incredibly well. Miles Morales is the greatest, and I'm like, I know Hector. I'm sorry, Hector, I'm going to throw you on the bus a little bit. Hector gets excited about a lot of superhero movies because they're new and they look cool and they feel cool.
Well, he also connects with them on a different
level
than we do.
And like, a lot of that too. So with this movie, I was like, okay, but I know how much you love Spider-Man.
Right.
Like Spider-Man's your dude.
Right.
Is
there a level of bias coming in?
Yeah. So I'm like, I unless they royally screw this movie up, I was like, I think Hector's gonna really enjoy this movie. But the fact that like he was this determined with what he said, and it was like that bold.
Yeah.
And then everybody else was like, greatest Spider-Man movie. I'm like, okay, no, this probably might be the greatest Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that he liked it over Homecoming,
that's huge.
Was also big, very surprising because he's like, Homecoming, best Spider-Man origin story. Well, it's kind of an origin, but best Spider-Man movie up to this point. And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, like all right.
Yeah.
But like, I'm very impressed that this movie is apparently as good as it is.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know. I haven't always had like the most faith in Sony because we did get Spider-Man 3, 2 Amazing Spider-Man movies, and then it took their collaboration with Marvel before we were like, oh, Spider-Man's back to what we kind of wanted him to be.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited, and I'm super happy that like this movie is. Again, it's animated.
Right.
Animated movies we know notoriously through history. It's like they don't get all the
Yeah.
praise. They don't get all the accolades, and like the box office sometimes doesn't reflect the quality of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm praying to God that this is the animated movie, because like Teen Titans Go to the Movies did nothing.
No.
More or less.
No, but it was an
Comparison.
amazing movie.
It was
well.
great.
Yeah, it was great.
Exactly. It's
It
one of
was
those
really
movies
great.
that I'm like, damn it. But this one, I'm hoping this is the one where people are like, let's go, everybody,
Game changer.
everybody, family.
I feel like
aunts,
there's so
uncle,
much
and
momentum
it's
behind
Christmas release.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Especially Homecoming coming out being awesome. Him dying in Infinity War
Yeah.
being awesome. People
It's
are
the year of the
missing
spider.
People are missing him right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you know what? The game was awesome. Let's go and jump on this movie. So
Yeah.
this is going to attract a lot more people right now than maybe previously would have. Say
For
we were
sure.
coming off of
sure.
the end of the Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
This movie
Jesus.
probably would not have hit as
Yeah.
well, you know?
No.
And so it's coming out at a really, really good time.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing I want to touch on is that there was an article that came out. I forgot who put it out. And they were like, so why are these movies so good? Like, why are animated movies, why are these stories like Pixar or things that are coming out of Leica Studios and things like that, why are they so good? And they
And
attribute...
why is nobody watching them?
and nobody's watching them.
Sorry,
but
Yeah.
but they attribute them being so good from the detail of storyboarding that people do. You know about
for sure.
storyboarding. You know about
Oh,
storyboarding.
for sure.
For the people who don't know about
They basically draw the
storyboarding,
movie out before they make it.
Yeah.
yes, every
Yeah.
frame of the movie is planned out before anything starts to happen. So like maybe they have a rough script. Story's not even fully complete yet, but
Yeah.
people start drawing. People start drawing and they start putting just ideas down and cool things down and shots. The director's involved. There's a guy who's pitching the story who's kind of acting things out,
Yeah.
and you're getting the beats and you're getting the timing and you're getting the story arcs, and that's where you get to fix things, and everything's so flexible and fluid because nothing's concrete yet.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the molding process to making
I-
that
It's a big
perfect
sculpture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love if you guys get a chance to see that stuff. Like Disney started releasing videos of like storyboard
Yeah,
art for their
absolutely.
movies. They just released like a Coco one when he
Yeah.
goes when Miguel goes and runs to Mama Coco and
Right, right.
and I'm just like, oh my
It's
god,
beautiful.
and just
It's
the
beautiful
fact that
process,
it was
yeah.
just someone reading the just reading
Yeah,
Right.
what the script was,
Right.
And just so you see the storyboard. It's just
Right.
like it still captures that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You still I was like, oh my
Exactly.
god,
What's
like,
that
You're descriptive
Yeah.
and sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think also like for the actors who play those characters, because they don't have to actually be in costumes
Right,
on
right,
the set. They're just in a room like this, and they
Right.
just get to like perform.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Yeah.
influences a lot of
Exactly.
stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think like the animators and the artists,
Yep.
they look at that, they go like, how can we build this into the character? And it
Right,
just
right,
like
right.
it takes it from here and it goes and
Right.
it cranks it up to a whole
Exactly.
new level.
and I don't know, like it just you're able to do a lot more with animation in general, and with the way the coloring is and stuff like that. You could do that with film, but I think it's so much more exaggerated, for lack of a better term. With
Well, not even
animation, where-
exaggerated. You have that less of limits on what you can do.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
literally, your imagination is the limit.
Yeah.
Because you're literally setting the tone for everything. Like, how are these characters gonna look? What are people don't think about, like when a character jumps into a shadow, like if they're coming from a daytime to the shadow time, they have to have a color palette for the character in the shadow, then they have to have a color palette for the character in the daylight,
Yeah.
and if there's like a pink light, you have to have another character palette like with pink light influencing
Yeah.
everything that they do. So it's just like there's so much level of detail that you have to pay attention to in animation, which you don't necessarily have to pay attention to in practical shooting or heavy VFX shots, because
Yeah.
that's just built in automatically. But this is something that like you think about, and that gives you opportunities to like play with stuff. Like, what if this is a character who's dressed in black, goes into the shadow, disappears completely, but you just see like the silhouette,
yeah.
you know? Like, you can do such cool things with animation. And I
Yeah.
feel like this movie, from the very first frame I saw, I feel like they were aware of all the possibilities that they could take, and they're like, we're fucking taking all these possibilities right now. We're going to make an amazing movie.
I mean, the first trailer, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
we watched the first trailer. The trailer ended, and I went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
What
exactly,
is,
right?
Like, I was so overwhelmed by the style and
Yeah,
like
it was
the
sick.
fact that they were just like, we're just gonna take some drugs and go crazy. And I'm like, not that they literally did, but like,
right.
It has like that, like, who smoked a bunch and was just like,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a crazy Spider-Man movie, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But the fact that they were just like, let's just go all out.
Right.
Let's stylize the hell out of this thing.
Yep.
Let's like allow the other artistic styles of the other characters from different eras to like influence the movie.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's
awesome.
beautiful. It's
I
beautiful.
love it.
To me, that's what made me want to go into movie making in
art.
the first place.
Yeah.
Like I came into the industry wanting to be an animator, doing that kind of stuff. You
Yeah.
know, little did I know how difficult it would be to get into that field.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, stuff like this inspires me so much. Like I
Yeah.
haven't drawn in probably a good 10 years. And something like this just makes me want to bust out my sketch pen and
Totally.
just start going to town, you know?
Yeah.
But it's I love seeing this, and it gives me so much hope that maybe this might start like a resurgence. And like we haven't seen a really good animation since really Avatar. I mean, Avatar was a mind-blowing, game-changing thing as well. And now we're getting one of the directors to come in to do this next one.
That's what I'm like.
Hopefully.
That's tight.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
it's
it's
tight.
good stuff, man. I'm
Tight,
really
tight,
excited for
tight,
this stuff.
baby.
Tight, baby.
All right.
The other
let's-
exciting thing about it is, so out of this, they're also going to spin off and do a movie, an anime movie, just like in the style of Spider-Verse, that's going to focus on female characters of the Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
Obviously, Spider-Gwen will more than likely be the main prominent character.
Yep.
This movie is going to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has other important Spider-Man. Female Spider-Man characters featured in this movie, so I'm sure a lot of those characters will cross over into this female-centric
Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
superhero
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie, and they're gonna get the co-showrunner of Voltron, Lauren Montgomery, to direct this. So you currently have the
Thank
two
you. Holy
showrunners
shit.
of Voltron
Oh,
are
my
going
God.
to together go to Sony and make two separate Spider-Verse
That's
movies.
amazing.
One
Yeah.
that's focused on Spider-Man.
Yep.
The other one is focused on all the other female spider characters. So
Yeah.
if they decide to make both movies in the same style, I'm cool with it because I think it's an amazing style. If Lauren Montgomery's like, let's do it a little different.
I would love that.
And then if they did like a third one together where they co-directed and they cross
Oh
the
my
styles,
God.
I'm like,
Right.
this
exactly.
could be so sick.
Yeah, it's so
that'd be
crazy, dude.
Sick.
So many possibilities,
know.
and none of them are like not.
Sky's the limit, kind of.
Yeah, none of
Yeah.
them are impossible, basically.
Especially
Yeah.
if this movie does extremely well at the box office.
Yeah.
There's no reason that Sony's like, here's more moolah.
Yep, exactly.
Make it even better.
Yep.
But again, it goes back to the conversation that we've been having, talking about Jaime Reyes and now talking about this of like, it's cool to see that the studios are diversifying and expanding the universes.
Absolutely.
New characters. Because, I mean, there was even an interview where I don't remember exactly who it was, but they were like, I never thought, like, it never occurred to me that Spider-Gwen would show up in a movie.
Same.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's a character we created for the comic books, and it'll probably always stay on the comic
Yep,
page because
yep.
nobody will want to make this movie.
But and man, and like I was actually just talking with this on the Hyper RPG crew podcast about Spider-Gwen before I heard this news.
yeah.
And I like the Spider-Gwen storyverse. When you hear that, like the comic books, you would I imagined it as a rehashing of like Peter Parker's story,
Sure.
but it's so different.
Yeah.
And it's so unique, and it's its own beast,
Yeah.
and there's so much stuff you can do in it. So the fact that like this is even happening, like
Yeah.
I totally see it. Like
Yeah.
guys, the Spider-Gwen books are great. Go read them. But there's just so much you can pull from,
Yeah.
and they have so many great female characters. I kind of think the Spider-Woman thing might follow around Silk, who was, was hidden away for a very, very long time because of the Inheritors. Maybe that's when we get the Inheritors, which are the gross spider-eating people.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. There's just so much possibility,
Yeah.
and to me, it makes sense that Spider-Gwen would she's being taken off with like kids and comic books. Like, everyone's loves Spider-Gwen,
Yeah.
but it's not just because it's a female Spider-Woman. It's also
No.
because there's so much.
a
She's
cool
like a great character.
And I think it totally helps that you have Haley Steinfeld voicing her.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. So like you have someone who like could be a very good representative of this character.
Yeah.
Like, cause she's gonna be in Bumblebee, and I'm like, I'm really digging where this movie's going, and I'm really
Oh,
digging
yeah.
her character.
Oh, yeah.
So like to have her also be Spider-Gwen, I'm like, this seems like a really good ambassador for this character.
Yeah.
Who really can like be someone who is embraced by everybody,
Yeah.
kids, teens, adults. Like, I think she's great. I'm sure plenty of teenagers think she's great. I'm sure a lot of kids think she's great. So it's like to have someone who has sort of like that universal love from like the world
Yeah.
Especially like she's a singer and she's an actor and all that. So she's like a very multi-talented artist. Is great, and like you want that type of person to like represent a character like this that you're trying to get out into the forefront and in front of like as many people as possible.
And who might possibly not have gotten another chance otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, people are going out of their way to make this movie on purpose, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, we need these kind of opportunities for us to tell stories like Spider-Gwen, who we might not have ever gotten. You know, if it wasn't for maybe Mr. Peter Parker over here in the Spider-Verse.
Peter Parker.
You come so far.
Parker. Yeah.
The last story that we're going to talk about sort of ties into this: the rise of the superheroines. The female superheroes are on the rise. We've been seeing that, obviously. It took Marvel a long time to really make that happen. But, you know, in a couple weeks or next week we're getting Batwoman, the first lesbian superhero character on the CW, who will then transition into her own series. We've already had White Canary, but White Canary is a part of Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes.
So, like, cool, we took a step. The next step is to give a character their own series, Batwoman, which is awesome. And like that's going to open up opportunities for a lot more diverse representation on the CW. I think CW has done a great job building out a very diverse cast of characters. And like I think Marvel has done it on their shows as well. So it's great to see that like that is going like full steam ahead. They're just going for it. They're just going for it. And especially with like the female characters, you know, you've seen the Marvel Cinematic Universe predominantly. Well, no, it has definitely been a male-led universe. For 10
for
years.
sure.
Run by nothing but Chris's.
Yeah, a bunch of Chris's running the MCU.
Yep.
And that's nothing against them because like they're all great.
Right.
They're great in the roles. In the DC universe, like I like Henry Cavill. I like Ben Affleck. You know, I like some of those other players in those movies. But it's great that like Gal Gadot, like that took off.
Oh yeah.
And she's incredible.
She deserves it,
Another great ambassador to like the DC like female fans, but like it's not a lot of people be like, oh god, okay, we're just trying to like make female superhero movies to like appease a certain audience. Like no, like I would also love to see more of Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Zatanna, Black Widow, Captain Marvel. Like I want to see it too. Like I've loved Iron Man, I've loved Thor, I love Captain America, the Guardians, Superman, Batman. I love all these characters, but like I also really like to see something new and fresh. It's like, what can Wasp bring to the Avengers? What can Captain Marvel bring to these characters? Scarlet Witch. And like, so I think it's great. I think right now is the perfect opportunity to really lead this off. And the fact that these studios are now bringing a lot of female creators behind the camera is so awesome. They have Kathy Ann doing Birds of Prey.
Right.
You know, they're just starting to bring like Ava DuVernay's doing The New Gods, which is like, the fact that Ava DuVernay was like, I want to do New Gods, like, that's badass. Because you usually think like, oh, they got to get like a James Cameron. Like, no, we got Ava DuVernay. And you're like, that's actually really good.
That's a good call. That's a real good call.
I'm on board. And you know the people who are like, yeah, but she did that movie with Chris Pine. What was it called? The movie based on the book that just came out this year.
Wrinkle in Time?
Wrinkle in Time. Like, it was a flop. I'm like, but have you seen like everything else that she's done? TV shows that she produces, like that woman is, she just signed like a multi-million-dollar, maybe, I think it's a multi-million-dollar deal, maybe billion. I think it's a multi-million-dollar deal.
Probably million.
With Warner Brothers to do a huge like television, like do a bunch of different TV shows and stuff. I'm like, that woman is crushing it in the industry right now. So it's like, it's a great opportunity to really like diversify. And the old saying of like girls don't like comic books is bullshit. Like that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
Remember that really nice girl we met in Berlin at the comic book shop?
Yes.
She was awesome.
Dude, she was amazing.
She was like the German female version of Hector.
She was.
She worked at this comic book shop by herself, and we were just, because we dropped in there, right? And we tried to drop into as many comic book shops or whatever
Hector
we could go
determined.
to. Hector was determined, yeah. And so we drop into this shop, and it's one of the coolest little shops I've been in. It's very intimate, like very small, but they had a huge collection of stuff.
Dude, it
like
was a great collection.
Yeah, all quality stuff. And so we just kind of like started chattering her up, and like she was like, well, I don't really, I read the mainstream stuff, but not as much. And she started dropping knowledge on all these like small vendors, like small comic book companies of stories that she's really into. We're like, damn, that's dope. She knows her stuff. Like,
that's awesome.
Mad respect. Like it's one thing to work at a comic book shop. It's another thing to like really
like,
get into it and talk about the nitty gritty stuff like that. Absolutely. So I agree with you. The whole thing of women don't read comic books is bullshit.
Yeah.
And my sister was the one who got me into comics.
Oh,
Your
really?
sister? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
My
I
sister
didn't know
growing
that.
up, she was the one who got me into it. She had a whole collection of like, it was like late 90s DC stuff
Yeah.
and like some Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what she introduced me to. And she was the one who got me into it.
How much
really
older
cool.
than you is she?
About 4.5 years older.
Oh,
so,
okay. So
yeah.
you were primed for that then.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
As
She's
soon as she
awesome.
was done, she'd throw them in your direction.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She
Awesome.
beat with you, and she
Yeah,
read it.
exactly.
She would always recommend stuff to me
That's
until like I
cool.
got old enough to like actually, buy them myself
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
That's
it was,
awesome.
it was cool. That
That's
was my
cool.
sister,
Yeah.
So it was-
Does she still collect?
she doesn't collect anymore.
Just
She just
read?
now I'm like telling her
Oh,
now
okay,
it's like the mantel's
Uh-huh,
patch, but she
uh-huh.
still like
That's
reads
cool.
it and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So yeah, man, it's my sister.
All right.
Yeah, that's
dope.
awesome.
That's really dope.
This
Yeah.
this article had like a really good little statistic that I'll read to you. So one of the things that it said was Hollywood assumed for years that girls were apathetic about superhero fare, while boys might be alienated by female leads. I don't know why you would think that.
Okay.
I don't
Whatever.
get that logic.
so-
Okay.
It also says a recent study conducted by Women's Media Group and BBC America found that those assumptions are no longer the case. The study found an avid interest among girls, with 85% expressing interest in seeing more female superheroes and science fiction protagonists. The study also showed a sizable majority of boys, 69%, were also interested in seeing more women in those roles. Parents surveyed were fully on board as well, with 80% wanting more women in hero roles. So we want this.
I
We
feel
want
like
this.
I feel like them saying that like currently it's changing. I don't feel anything has changed. I feel like people like back in the day growing up, like it was boys played with this, girls played with that,
Right.
like, and that's just what it was. Nobody ever questioned it. Like
Yeah.
That's
boys
what it was.
they just got the comic books and girls got the kitchen sets and Barbies and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And I think people are starting to realize that maybe that wasn't the best route to take. Like,
Yeah.
let
for
little
sure.
kids play with what
Let
they
them
want to play
discover
with.
what
Exactly.
they love. Yeah.
And I feel like them saying that that's what it was only there because that's all they gave their kids.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
didn't know.
we
Yeah,
like
they
we
didn't know.
force people. We like force that into the culture.
You force that into the
Yeah.
culture, which is bullshit because back in the day, like kids play with really anything, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter if it's boy stuff or girl stuff. I guess when you become aware of cooties,
yeah.
it becomes a thing, and then you grow out of it, and then it's just it's something stupid.
Bro, we had a
you know?
Captain America Barbie at my house. And I played with that thing. It was
Wait, growing up,
yeah,
what
yeah. It
that
was-
existed?
I didn't know that.
yeah. I don't know if it was like official, but like it had
Yeah.
a costume.
Did your mom just make one or what?
No, I don't think so. It might have been like one of those like
Knockoff,
like
like-
those knockoff things.
Oh, right.
But like it was a Ken-looking doll with a
Yeah.
Captain America costume, and I was like,
Interesting.
I'm all about this.
Oh.
And kids were like, "Oh, it's weird," and I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're
"It's
like,
fucking
what's-
Captain America.
Yeah, it's like,
that's
what
a
are you
Barbie.
talking about?
What's your problem, Dick? He's got a shield and everything."
But I bet you other people were only saying that because
Yeah.
their parents were
Yeah.
saying, well, boys don't play with that.
where's your
Yeah.
Hot Wheels?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's just like, dude, come on. Like,
yeah.
you really only force those things on your kids
Yeah.
because of your own prejudice and bias and everything like that. So I feel like now that we're kind of just like, I don't know, kind of changing. It's not even fully changing,
It's
though.
sad to say, but accepting.
I guess.
that's
Yeah,
the
that's a
word.
good
It's a
word for it.
painful.
That's
It's a
good word
painful
for it.
truth.
A little bit more
It's like,
accepting.
oh,
Yeah.
girls like comics. Come to the party. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
more accepting that,
Yeah.
like, yes, women can take roles of leadership
Yeah.
and be badasses, and boys can sometimes, like, play with dolls or, like, not necessarily always
totally
play with toys.
okay.
Boys can
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to show all that
Motherfucker,
stuff.
I will cry every time I watch Creed. You will
Oh,
not change my
day.
mind.
I
All
cry
day.
every time I watch Coco too, man.
Yeah.
Guys, I've cried twice since I've been here.
Yeah.
What do you think I'm doing right now?
I'm crying right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is just something that, like, we're letting people be more free to
Totally.
decide what
Yeah.
they want to like.
Plus, I think also like we now are existing in a culture where like we are allowing people to feel comfortable to be more vocal about things that they love.
Absolutely.
And we're being like,
Absolutely.
oh man, that's cool that you like this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Instead of being like, that's the thing you like, that's lame.
Yeah.
So I think like we've also, I think slowly women and people of color and stuff are feeling more comfortable to be like, hey, I also like this.
Mhm.
And hopefully on the other end, we're like, you like this too? Bro, you're going to love this. Or like, you're going to love this comic
Yeah.
book. Or like,
Yeah.
so I think like the more that we do that we encourage people to feel comfortable with expressing things that they're passionate about, then like we're gonna continue seeing this trend of like the more obscure heroes, the diverse heroes are gonna start getting movies and TV shows and their own comic books, and like that's cool.
Yeah, like that's what we need to see. There was that whole.
You can't make Batman, Superman movies forever. As much as I like.
Yeah, no, I agree.
As much as I want another Superman movie. And part of this article, which I don't know how true this is, like it's in the article, but they were saying that like Flash and Superman movies are kind of they're actively being sort of like worked on.
Yeah.
But the favor is going into the female characters, and I'm like, I kind of wish you wouldn't write that in there.
Yeah.
Then that creates a
There's
lot of
weird
like
bias.
people like spin that negatively. Like, great. So because of these fucking female characters, we don't get.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm
You're
like,
inviting that argument.
yeah, and I'm like,
yeah,
guys, we've already had like 40 years of Superman movies.
Right.
I get it. Like, I want it too. But if I have to wait 2 years to get like Jaime, and in favor, I get like Jaime Reyes and Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
To get like Renee Montoya and Huntress and Black Canary.
Right.
I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
For sure.
Time goes by so quick that like you're gonna complain about it today, and it's gonna feel like a week when you're gonna go buy a ticket for the next Superman movie. And you're like, I saw all these other cool 10 movies. I'm like, just like.
And at the end of the day, you're gonna love all of them.
Exactly.
It's true. We all love. We just love comics, man. We just want.
Yeah.
We just want cool shit.
Yeah.
Matt, I'm just blown away at the fact that you are able to consume so much media.
Thanks,
all the
man.
time.
And still
It's
sit here
actually
and
really
jabber
impressive.
with us.
Thank you.
I know.
It's tough, man. Sometimes I have to like binge like 5 episodes in one day.
But you enjoy it though, right? Like it's not like you binge it to just be like a completionist, just to say that you finished it, but you fully enjoy watching all
the ones
it.
I mean, it's like the ones I committed to. Those are the ones I committed to.
Damn.
You know? Like, because
That is
like, what happened
impressive.
is like I'll try it. Like I started Arrow and Flash when they first started.
Yeah.
And like I committed to that, and now they keep adding shows. I'm like, I'll try that out. Oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm committing to this now too. You know.
Oh
Damn.
man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
You are a
Matt.
champion of the people, Matt.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah,
Thank you so
because
much for
now
coming by.
we know
Thanks
we
for
can
having me
use
on.
you
It's
as
my
as a reference for any TV stuff
I
that
know.
we
Yeah.
You and Zach, because you two are
Oh, that's
psychos
right,
who don't
Zach.
We're
sleep.
both
Yeah.
pretty crazy who don't sleep. You know, we're
That's
both
nuts.
crazy people who don't
Especially you two. I'm like,
sleep.
my God. Zach walks out of his room in the morning. He looks all broken, going to the bath. I'm like, Zach, how you doing? How was your night? Binge watched another show, didn't you? I'm like, God, you zombie.
Son of a-
Sleep, you son of a bitch. But thank you so much, man. For
My
being
pleasure.
here.
It's a
Really
pleasure to
appreciate
be
it.
here.
was
Thanks
a
for having me,
pleasure.
everybody. Yeah, anytime, for real.
I know.
I'm
seriously.
always here,
The fact
so.
that you are here literally every day and we asked you a year and a half into the show is kind of bad on our part.
It's bad.
We need to do a little bit
I
better.
Oh,
apologize.
guys, no, dude, don't worry. You guys are doing
apologize,
great.
Tight.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
Guys, you can find me everywhere at the Matt Acevedo now.
New name.
New name.
Oh
New
yeah.
handle.
I made sure I got it right in that lower third, baby.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, you're
Thanks.
welcome.
Come check me out. I'd love to talk to you guys about stuff. I love video games and Nintendo. Come play.
You're doing
video
something
games with
cool
me.
next Friday.
Oh yeah, because this will be
That's
aired by then. So
right.
next Friday, guys, this is huge for all you Super Smash Bros. Ultimate people out there. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate drops next Friday, and we are doing a special event. We are doing a Hyper Smash Professional Amateurs Tournament, which will have a bunch of 16 people competing, 4 teams of 4, including Team Hyper. We have people from Toaster Ghost and Smosh Games like Pamela Horden,
The
Laser
Hyperforce.
Corn. We have Hyperforce people coming on like Peter Sidarso,
Yeah.
Strawberry 17, Christina V, Andre Blacknerd
Yep.
is coming to play.
Yep.
Joven Shire, Lasercorn, Sohinki. We have a bunch of great people coming to play. Abby coming to
gonna be
play.
here.
She sang
Abba
the
the
song for
Fourth?
Smash Bros.
That's
trailer,
right.
so-
She did.
Yeah, so
Guys, you
we're
might get a
doing-
live performance. That's dope.
I don't
can't-
think
she actually can't do that.
I don't think
Never
she
mind.
can perform
Yeah,
live.
no.
Never mind.
You
But
might
she'll be
get
here.
one bar,
I
maybe
know.
one bar.
Yeah, so make sure, guys, to tune in to twitch.tv/hyperrpg for our Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament next Friday, starting at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So, yeah,
Boom.
I'm really
Nice.
That's
excited
gonna be
about it.
dope.
That's gonna be
Matt
fun.
needed help making the bracket, and I was like, I'll help you. I started reading. I'm like, this looks really rad.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
He just showed it to me before the show,
yeah,
and
I was like,
this
God damn it.
is
Yeah,
dope.
so check
Yeah,
it
it's
out,
gonna be
man.
awesome.
I'm definitely gonna tune in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna be a
for
lot
sure.
of fun. Guys, in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys leave all your comments below on everything that we talked about, and I hope you guys were filling up that live chat because I cannot wait to read all your guys' responses to all things that we're talking about. Make sure you subscribe right here to Hyper RPG. Hopefully, very soon we will be blessed with the first trailer for Avengers 4, so people can stop asking us
Right
when it's
now.
gonna come out.
Diosito, please.
Sweet Jesus, just drop the damn thing already. In the meantime, guys, we will see you next week. Thank you so much again, and enjoy your weekend.
Bye, everybody.